All right, y'all. Good afternoon. Today's stories are straight up wild. $1 million Mike, surprise airport arrest, a big legal move in hip hop, and one Florida man who redefined player. Let's get into it.
Deep in the glorified screens, it's a party inside. Sometimes you need solutions, and sometimes it's just a vibe in good chat therapy.
Okay. Okay, y'all. Welcome back. Hope you're having a good Sunday. Also, before we get started, first we're going to talk about Cardi B. We're going to go right into it. So grab your tea, your snack, your coffee, whatever. And also drop down and let me know, are you cooking dinner today, Sunday? Are you cooking Sunday dinner? If so, let me know what you're cooking, okay? Don't be shy. Say hi. Well, let's get into this, okay? Let me roll back. I'm already starting. Let's roll back. First up is Miss Cardi B, okay? Short and sweet. All right, second here. And yeah. So recently, I actually did a story on this. This happened back in 2023. Remember when Cardi B threw the mic at her fan? Okay. Back in 2023, the Las Vegas nightclub show. Well, according to Complex, someone has put the infamous mic on sale on eBay for $1 million, or best offer. If purchased, the buyer will receive a notary letter from the company that supplied the equipment. I was like, okay. The listing on eBay notes that a portion of the sale of the microphone will go to the charity NAACP and includes the following. And I'm not going to go into all of that, but I did list it there. So there's that. Just something, hey, whatever. And I guess my question is, would you buy this mic? That's just really the question. Just something to think about. Okay. Not much else happening, just that. But we're moving on. Not much else on Miss Cardi B, okay? Let's move on to our next segment, which I found to be really, really interesting, okay? So we're going to move on over and head over to Florida. And you're like, Misty, what's in Florida? Well, let's get into it. It was really interesting. Let's go. Let's see. Let's get there. Okay. So before I go into the actual video, this story is about a gentleman, a man out of Florida who happened to be married 3 women in Florida, honey, at one time. And you say, how is it possible? It is possible. It happened. So let's get into the details and we'll come back and we'll talk about it, okay? Let's go. All right.
Same time, he was back in court yesterday for his sentencing hearing after pleading guilty to bigamy, which is a felony.
And new tonight, I-Team investigator Adam Walser is following through with the latest developments in this strange case, and it was shared all across social media.
Henry Betsy Jr. pleaded guilty to a single felony count of bigamy back in May. But after he entered that plea deal, he was arrested in another state, leading the judge to revoke his bond. When we last saw Henry Betsy Jr. in court, he was dressed in a sports shirt and blazer with his new girlfriend beside him.
Yeah, Henry, we want to get your side of all this. What can you tell us?
Well, unfortunately, I'm unable to talk at this moment.
But when he arrived for his sentencing hearing Thursday, he was wearing handcuffs and an orange Hernando County jail uniform. His bond revoked by the judge because he was arrested for assault and battery of a family or household member. The alleged assault took place in Virginia, where he and his girlfriend had traveled to attend a wedding.
Inappropriate.
Thursday's hearing was all about the felony bigamy charge we first told you about in May. 3 Florida women from 3 different Florida counties all met Henry Betsy Jr. on dating websites and married him at county courthouses during a 2-year period. Only one of his wives was willing to appear on camera.
I met him on Match.com.
He said all the right things.
He sold the perfect person when in reality he was none of those things.
Betsy didn't get divorces or annulments before marrying again. Last year, Tanya Betsy learned Henry was married to Michelle and Brandy Betsy.
I just started county by county putting his name in, and that's when I came up with the marriage to Michelle and the marriage to Brandy.
She found me and she messaged me, and I had no idea that she was actually still married to him.
The wives all blame the state of Florida for not cross-referencing marriage licenses between counties.
Because if there were safeguards in place and there was cross-referencing on different counties here in the state of Florida, none of this would have ever happened.
If the counties did talk, that would have saved me a lot of heartache, a lot of money, a lot of stress.
At Thursday's sentencing, Michelle Betsy addressed the judge.
And I am unfortunately still the wife of the defendant. I am not here today just as a woman who was betrayed by someone I once trusted, but also speaking on behalf of the other women involved. What he did was not a mistake, it was a deliberate choice, and choices have consequences.
Henry also spoke.
First and foremost, I want to apologize to the ladies for it, and I want to apologize to the court administration and also to my family and friends that have to be involved in this, because ultimately, this is something that, I did not wish on anyone.
Because Henry had no prior criminal convictions and his case in Virginia has not been resolved, the judge said he was limited under the law in what sentence he could impose.
Adjudicated guilty of the bigamy offense, which is going to make him a convicted felon. I'm going to sentence him to 2 years of probation with 8 days credit for time served. He'll undergo a mental health evaluation. He'll complete a certified batterer's intervention program.
Deputies collected Henry's fingerprints and a DNA sample as part of the protocol following his felony conviction. Betsy's former wives and their family and friends said they had hoped he would see jail time, but were glad to put a difficult chapter behind them.
And while it was not jail sentence, the fact that he is now a convicted felon, that speaks mountains. And I feel like that is vindication on our part.
Is that the first time you've heard him say, "I'm sorry"?
Absolutely. And I'm sure that it was only said because it was recommended by his attorney to say. Do I think that he has any remorse? Absolutely not.
Michelle says she's now talking to state legislators, hoping they'll introduce a law calling for some type of statewide marriage license database.
We can take this to the next level, that we all here in the state of Florida can learn from this, and that we can put up safeguards so that this doesn't happen to other women.
In addition to that probation, the judge ordered Betsy to stay off of social media and dating websites, and he also ordered him not to have any contact with his 3 former wives. I'm I-Team investigator Adam Walser with photojournalist Matt McGlashan taking action for you.
Adam, thank you. And here's a look at Adam's original story that was shared all over different social media platforms. You can find the story on our website at abcactionnews.com. There you'll also find a form to fill out to reach out to our I-Team who's dedicated to exposing wrongdoings and taking action for our viewers.
Well, yeah, I thought that was interesting. For one thing, first thing is it's kind of weird, you hear these type of stories like from different states, they can't cross-reference them. And so you can get married, they can't identify that they're already married. But this is weird because this all happened, everyone was from Florida. I know they all met online, but they're all from Florida. So all this is really, really strange. But yeah, I don't know what's going on, but he definitely had a type, or he just did, okay? And the other thing I thought was really weird, I don't know if you heard, but in the report, they shared that he came in court with his girlfriend. It's crazy, right? His girlfriend looks just like the other victims that look exactly like her, and he came and brought them to court. So all this is really interesting. I thought it was crazy, and it does happen. It's not it is a common story, but I was surprised because it happened within the same state. But yeah, they definitely need to get something. In 2025, I'm surprised that we don't have a system in place to cross-reference and not speaking to each other, right? If you're marrying someone, you should know if they're already married before you marry them. Like, it should come up, even though, because people tell lies all the time, okay? And, seems like he may be a bit of a con man here, obviously, right? But yeah, kind of crazy. 1 man, 3 wives, 0 divorces, and somehow he got 0 jail time, okay? Anyway, like I said, I thought it was an interesting story. Again, it happens all the time. It started on a dating site, but things do happen. Okay. So now we're going to take a short break and we're going to come back and we're going to get into some more tea. So don't go anywhere. We'll get you some more tea. Okay. All right. So I'll be right back. And yeah, we're going to get into it. Okay. All right. Just a second. And yeah, Let's do this real quick. Okay. Thanks for logging on, rocking with your girl today. Yeah, we'll get into it. Right back.
오늘따라 모든 게 지겨운 것만 같아 저기 지나가는 사람들 같은 표정들 짓고 있잖아 의미 없이 흘러가네 이 하루엔 네가 필요해 어디로든 떠나볼까 저기 노을진 길을 따라 설레는 마음 가득 안고서 아무런 생각도 하지 말고 저 깊은 곳으로 뛰어들어 볼까 아주 잠시 눈을 감고 하나 둘 숨을 머금고 붉게 물든 일거리를 짓는 마음 가는 대로 훌쩍 다른 vibe 조금씩 다가오는 밤을 따라 마음 가는 대로 Let's ride like it 않는 대로 try 여기 다른 vibe 끝없는 네 밤 위로 fly high 아무 걱정 말고 let's dive 네 밤을 향해 ride and vibe Come on 둘만 아는 곳으로 너와 나의 paradise 속도 높여 계속 가야 해 이 설레임이 사라지기 전에 저 멀리 떠나볼까 발끝이 닿는 곳으로 오직 둘만의 비밀인 거야 아무런 고민도 하지 말고 저 바닷속으로 뛰어들어보자 아주 잠시 눈을 감고 하나 둘 입을 맞추고 붉게 물든 저 노을 짓는 마음 가는 대로 훌쩍 다른 vibe 조금씩 다가오는 밤을 따라 마음 가는 대로 Let's ride like it 않는 대로 try 여기 red and vibe 끝없는 네 밤 위로 fly high 아무 걱정 말고 let's dive 네 밤을 향해 red and vibe Come on 둘만 아는 곳으로 너와 나의 paradise 지금 우리의 마음 이대로 멈추지 마 red and vibe
Okay, yes. All right. So I'm back. Thank you. It was a short break. I'm back. So now we're going to get into Miss Erica Banks. She's a rapper out of Atlanta. So if you hadn't noticed, today we're talking about music, mischief, and $1 million moves. Okay. So now we're going to get into Miss Erica Banks. She's out of Atlanta. We're going to let's get into the story, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay. So let's hear what the news person has to share with us about what's going on with Miss Erica.
Instead, she missed that flight and ended up being booked over at the Clayton County Jail. So here is what we know this evening. Atlanta police say Erica Banks put her Louis Vuitton purse in a bin to be scanned by the TSA x-ray machine. As the bag was scanned, police say the machine alarm sounded, alerting agents to a firearm. TSA searched Banks' purse, where police say they found the firearm in a pocket in the bag. APD says the gun was not loaded, but there was a magazine with 6 rounds also inside her purse. In the report, Banks allegedly told officers she was not aware the gun was in her bag. Things got worse, though, when APD ran the serial number, and they say it came back stolen from South Carolina. Banks was arrested here, charged with theft by receiving stolen property. Now, tonight, her attorney says his client did nothing illegal.
It's pretty simple. She is alleged to have a stolen weapon in her purse. And in Georgia, in order to be convicted of theft by receiving stolen property, 2 things must be present. 1, you must know that the property is stolen. 2, or you should have known the property is stolen. Miss Banks had no idea that it was stolen, or she had no reason to even know that it was stolen. So she is not guilty.
Police say Banks told the officers that the gun belonged to her security, but she would not name that person. Now, she was taken to Clayton County Jail, as I mentioned, and she was released within just a couple of hours yesterday.
So, Cody, do we know anything about where that stolen gun came from?
Well, Ron, this is where things get really interesting. In this report, APD wrote that this gun was reported stolen out of Greenville, South Carolina, just up I-85 in 2018. Now, the address listed as the victim to that theft comes back to a law enforcement agency just outside of Columbia, South Carolina. Tonight, I reached out to the Sumter Police Department, who had no idea that this was listed as their gun and being stolen in 2018. And now they are looking into this report. So hopefully we will have an update in the next 24 hours. Live from the airport, Cody Alcorn, 11 Alive News.
Yeah, a lot of twists and turns there, Cody. Thanks a lot.
So yes, before we get into Mr. Boosie, let's roll back. So before we get into Boosie, let's just talk about. Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of questions. I guess my question really is, did she know if it was stolen or not? My other question is, why did she said she got it from her security guard. I was curious about why did she get it from her security guard? It's kind of weird. But anyway, I don't know a lot about Erica, but I do know she came out. I can't think of the name of the song right now. It's dropping me. But anyway, she just came out with a recent song called Dallas. And she is well-known rapper. But nevertheless, I don't know what's going on with all these rappers coming up with these guns, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. But anyway, that's pretty much the gist of that. That's the story. She pled not guilty. You heard what her attorney had to say. And I don't know if this was a smart move to carry a weapon. Okay, not judging, just saying I don't know if this is a smart move, especially if she has security. So, I have questions there, really. Like, what's going on with that? But anyway, it didn't stop her. Like I just said, she just put out a song called Dallas. Because she's still moving and grooving. Right after this happened, she kept it right on pushing. But there's that, okay? But nevertheless, let me know what you think. Do you think that she knew the gun was stolen or no? That's what it pretty much comes down to. But I wonder, is she going to get off? That's my question too. I'm going to say probably so. But anyway, I thought that was interesting too. But we're going to move on to the next story. We're moving right along. Let's get on into Mr. Boosie, okay? All right, let's go.
Police department.
Okay, well, hold on. Let's get past this and get to Mr. Boosie. Okay, he got a lot going on. Okay, hold on. All right, so before we get into that, Mr. Boosie Bad, A-Z or A-double-Z, he took a plea deal because he was charged with, guess what, possession of a weapon, a gun, a weapon. Okay, trying not to say that word. Let's get into some of the things that's going on. Okay, Mr. Boosie, he came out. He says is throwing in the towel on his long-running federal gun case. Pow case after back and forth with the courts that started in San Diego last year. The Baton Rouge rapper revealed this week that he took a plea deal with the feds. He says, just accepted a plea from the federal government on my gun case. I thought this case was over and I was going to get on with my life. But God don't make mistakes. And I'm tired of fighting. So yeah, that's what he took a plea deal. So yeah, I just want to file back. Now, before we go further, I'm going to file back from what happened in 2024. Short and brief. Let's get into it. Real quick and just touch on this where it looks like back in 2024, September 3rd, 2024, almost a year ago, Boosie asked Kamala Harris and Donald Trump for a presidential pardon. So this is just kind of refreshing our memory. We're going to skip all that, but he goes on, he tweeted, my case got dismissed for a ruling that was made in the Ninth Circuit Court 2 weeks later. The ruling gets vacated, shaking my head. Soon as I celebrate, the law is vacated. I got some powerful people who hate me with every bone in their body. I was sent to prison for 10 years for the third, and let's see, scrolling. Sorry, y'all, I'm just kind of clicking in. It says, okay. For third marijuana, for being a user, and LOL, no rehab, no probation, sent straight to prison. At this point, I need a pardon from whoever wins at VP at Real Donald Trump. Okay, and then there's that. I won't get into all of that. Okay, all right. So yeah, that's him actually pleading for pardon back in 2024 when this originally started. Okay, yeah, I thought that was noteworthy, so I wanted to just share that. He actually pleaded and he wanted asked for pardon. That was prior to number 47 becoming the president. Now let's get into what some of the comments and some of the reactions from the fans for him pleading, making his plea. So let's get into it. So one of the fans says, well, okay, y'all, this is not me. These are the fans. Okay, let's say that, right? He's just a dumb ass. These why go and live? Wait, why go live and have your gun on you? Shaking my damn head. Sorry, y'all. I'm curious, but anyway, how is this a crime though? Everybody has their thoughts, how they feel about this, and it gets pretty interesting. We're gonna keep going. Yeah, and I do pre-record these a little bit. I try to stay a little organized. Okay, so let's keep going. Yeah, come on. Anyway, we're gonna keep continue because sometimes they say some stuff is so funny to me. Okay. And then this one says, this black people got played for all their life. They got to live the brave people and fight every day and wait for cops. Then 20 minutes later, people fight every day something. They carry a POW is legal to for protection. And then I got so tickled by this because he goes, man, you need to sit back and read what you write. Trying to read your comments is like flying a plane with a blindfold on. That was too funny to me. I'm sorry. That was a key. Anyway, moving on. I mean, people can write what they want to write. They're just sharing their comments, their thoughts, and all their opinions. But, I thought that was funny. Well, you need stop carrying POWs, right? If you don't have a license, it's not worth it. So those are some of his fans have to say. Where some of them are fans, I guess, and some of them are not. But anyway, they're sharing their thoughts about his whole situation, and we're gonna keep going. And it gets even more like it's crazy. And somebody goes, "What is the hell? It's a Boosie." Now that was funny too. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" All right, so we're gonna keep going. We're not gonna read all of the comments, but let's keep going, okay? And see here. And keep going. Okay, it's gonna go into, and then there's another reaction that I want to go into about this. Showing up to the SD with a pow was stupid. Crazies called him still being around a fire. Crazy, huh? You can't even be around the pow. I'm not gonna get in all that what he's have to say, but they're sharing. Keep going. The hip hop police don't miss. And I love the name. I said what I said. I think that's cute. But yeah, we're still going through. All right. We're just going through some of what people reactions to what he had to say. And you're going to be amazed at some of the reactions. We're not done. So let's keep going. All right. Okay. So then we're going to get to, someone said, and then here comes Charleston White. So that's, we're going to lead right into what Charleston White has to say. Now, I did not play the entire clip of what Charleston White had to say because of a lot of cuss words. I chose not to do it, but you can go check it out if you want to hear everything he had to say. But let's get into just a little snippet. It's interesting. Just a little snippet. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I'm just saying what he said. Okay, let's go.
See, nigga, how gangsters deteriorate as time progresses and go on. We already know this gangster got a diabetes problem. He's gonna deteriorate fast.
That's not funny with that laugh.
I say that Vlad TV is the feds. He ain't got me locked up. And they'll get to see, nigga, how gangsters deteriorate as time progresses and go on. We already know this gangster got a diabetes problem. He's gonna deteriorate fast.
That laugh is.
I say that Vlad crazy. TV is the feds. He ain't got me.
I think I played it too many times. Anyway, that's just his reaction. Now let's be clear. Mr. White always has a comment. That's just Mr. White. If you know, right? He always has something to say. And at the beginning of it, he made a comment that, and I didn't catch that part, but he made a comment that Boosie was talking about. That's why he didn't get caught by the feds. And I guess his point was then the boo boo. Well, you noticed in the comment section, some people didn't appreciate it. Some people was like, "Why are you kicking him down when he's already down?" And then some people say he was telling the truth. So it's kind of a split. The opinions are split, down the middle. Some feel away. Some people think he deserved it. There's that. So anyway, Mr. White always have an interesting point. Okay. Sometimes I agree, sometimes I don't. But he's a mess. That laugh is a mess. I don't know what to say. But nevertheless, look at that picture of check out the picture of Boosie. Isn't that interesting? Let's kind of keep going. That's all I have. But let me know what you think about that whole situation. First of all, do you think that people should kick him down when he's down? Also, what's your whole take on him taking a plea? I will say this before I move on, is that first of all, it would have been nice if he stopped dealing in that life. And why is he carrying a gun? I have questions for him. Like, why were you still doing the same thing? You can't do the same thing. You have to let that lifestyle go. That's one side, right? But then on the other side, it was interesting to me. I hope you heard that the state dropped the charges, right? But then the feds picked them up. And I think they even dropped them again and picked them back up. And so here we are. That's why I think it just wore him out. And he was just like, no, I'm going to take a plea deal because, A, it takes money to fight him. And B, I'm probably just put him through his family, all the things, through a bunch of rigmarole. But I thought that was pretty interesting, though, because like I said, again, the state did drop the charges, and the feds picked them right up. The feds are not playing. They're not playing. And it seems like, I'm not saying he's not guilty, but it does seem like they are coming for the hip hop. They are. It seems like it. It looks like it. That's all I'm saying. That's what it looks like. But nevertheless, like I said, some feel he deserves it, some feel he doesn't. All right, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about Boosie. Was it a smart move, or did he give up too soon, or should he fight it? Or should he fought it? Because it's over with now. Let me know what you think about that, okay? Be interesting to know what you think. And we're going to move on from Mr. White, okay? All right. So anyway, that is it. I'm going to do a quick wrap up, okay? So first of all, thank you for joining the live. I hope you're having a great Sunday, okay? We talked about Miss Cardi B. We just touched on the fact that the famous mic that she threw 2 years ago at her fans, I thought it was Cardi selling it, but it said someone was selling the mic, allegedly, okay, on eBay for $1 million or less. The question was, would you buy that mic? My answer is probably going to be a good no. What's your thought? Then we talk about Erica Banks, who is a famous rapper out of Atlanta, and I can't think of the name of her famous song for Save Anything right now, but she just came out with a song called Dallas. I did listen to it. It seemed like a bop, okay? But anyway, she was picked up on charges, arrested for gun possession. We touched on that. And then we talked about the guy over with the gray/green eyes and the yellow who married 3 people at one time, which we've heard these stories before, but I thought it was interesting because it happened in the same state. We touched on that, went through the details, okay? And then, lastly, we talked about our man, Missy Boosie, AZZ, okay? And what he's gotten into and how he chose to deal with it. His response was, take a plea, all right? And again, like I said before, the topic today was on music, mischief, and million-dollar moves, okay? Please let me know what you think down. If you're coming through the replay, be sure to drop in. Let me know your thoughts. Also, I did put a question in there. Did you cook today? I'm cooking as soon as I log off. If you do, let me know. All right. Okay. As I always say, we can't change anyone else. We only can change ourselves. Focus on the things you can control and not on things you can't. I'll be back with another one. Thank you for listening. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, share the video. Bye. Check you next time.
오늘따라 모든 게 지겨운 것만 같아 저기 좀 나가는 생각도 하지 말고 저 깊은 곳으로 뛰어들어 볼까. 아주 잠시 눈을 감고 하나 둘 숨을 머금고 붉게 물든 일거리를 짓는 맘 가는 대로 훌쩍 다른 바이브 조금씩 다가오는 맘을 따라 맘 가는 대로 Let's ride 발길 닿는 대로 try 연기라는 바이브 끝없는 이 밤 위로 fly high 아무 걱정 말고 Let's dive 이 밤을 향해 ride and vibe Come on 둘만 아는 곳으로 너와 나의 paradise 높여 계속 가야 해 이 설레임이 사라지기 전에 저 멀리 떠나볼까 발끝이 닿는 곳으로 오직 둘만의 비밀인 거야 아무런 고민도 하지 말고 저 바닷속으로 뛰어들어 보자 아주 잠시 눈을 감고 하나 둘 입을 맞추고